Hey, Max, I was joking about the uniform thing. I didn't know if he was taking me serious or not. But yeah, man, we got to get you another hoodie or something. Like, are you going to do the hoodie thing in the summer when it's hot?
Yeah, I always wear a hoodie. That's my brand.
He does, though. He really does always wear a hoodie.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what, Max? It was a great race this weekend, a dominating race for somebody that we was doubting, but was no doubt about that. And we're going to talk all about that. We're going to geek all about that. But before we do that, we have to drop that intro.
Nitro is the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
Yeah. See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about
it. Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 187 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keno White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. To my left is the arrogant one in his NNRC uniform, Arrogant Max. What's up, Arrogant One? How you doing?
I'm doing good. It was actually, even though it was really windy out today, it felt like summer heat. So I think we're into May now. So I guess we're getting summertime now.
Oh, so it's warming up there in I almost said Sweden, in Finland?
Yeah. And actually next weekend, I might get some track time.
Where are you going?
Track in Western Finland, the west coast in Turku.
Okay, nice. Sweet. Well, I'll be at SilverState next weekend. So this weekend coming, sorry. Oh, you mean not this weekend coming, but the following weekend?
Yeah, this weekend coming.
Oh, okay.
Some people already went last weekend, so it's open.
Yeah, I leave for SilverState on tomorrow while we're recording this. Dude, there's people there already. Like, people are vacationing there already. I saw that. Like, it's crazy.
Already, it's Vegas. I don't
everybody's in the pool and chilling out and having fun and all that type of stuff. But I probably wouldn't be doing any of that stuff when I get out there. But we had a big race this weekend. We're going to talk about that. There was actually a 10 scale race too. We need to look up some results for that. So find that when you got a chance. Max's INS race was Dakota Fenn and those guys there. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to the NNRC Squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys, man. Thank you for all this support, all this traveling, all this stuff. It can't happen without you guys supporting this podcast and allowing us to be able to go to these events. So we greatly appreciate that. And I'm pretty stoked to be going to SilverState. Also, shout out to the patrons of the podcast. You guys got early release last week. Not really nothing happening this week, but I am going to have something for you guys here soon, probably as a giveaway. So I'm going to see what I can do at SilverState. So stay tuned for that. If you wish to become a patron of the podcast, you can. The link for that is in the written description of this podcast. Also, without sponsors, we cannot exist. Remember, everybody, showing the sponsors some love shows the podcast some love. And thank you to all these awesome companies that support the podcast. They are Invisible Speed. Remember, the online courses out there. I need to see how that went. If JQ actually did get that person to win, that one that was able to go spend time with them at the track like they were supposed to for the Euro warm-ups. I haven't spoken to him about that. But yes, check out the online course. The book is still selling like hotcakes. And I know Joseph's been working really hard on the online course because every time I talk to him, he's editing. So check it out at invisiblesteed.net. Also, shout out to TZO 200 Tires. I'll be hanging out with Nick and the boys at SilverState. Be great to see them. Maybe we'll have some giveaways for you guys. High Tech RCT, thank you for all their support in getting to this race. Shout out to TNR Fuels. I'm going to see Chris. Hopefully he won't be sick this time. Be great to hang out with him. Mayako, will be a few Mayako guys there. Greg, Axel, a couple of guys will be there. Be not too many, not like DNC, but we'll see. Greg says if he doesn't win, he's retiring. If he does win, he's retiring too. But we'll see how that goes. Shout out to Beach RC. Was talking to Lucas yesterday. They're getting ready. They had Spring Sting this past weekend. Shout out to everybody who went out to Spring Sting because now Beach RC owns that track. They did a great job. It looked great. Techno RC. Be good to see the Techno guys. We had Debo on last week on a live. He was pretty good. Check it out. If you haven't, it's on YouTube, and the audio is up on all Podbean apps. It was also streamed on Facebook, but you can find it easily on our YouTube channel. Leave a like, subscribe, comment. Also, Lugs Racing Tires. I'll link up with Bryce and Brad out there at SilverState. They said they'll be there. We have some coupon codes for them as well. You can save some money, up to 25%, I believe, off some of their awesome racing tires. Shout out to the JQSM guys. G-Spec RC tuning for all your cabling needs. Papa Willie's Traction Tonic to cure your poor traction and all your off-road or dirt oval needs. Shout out to Racecraft USA. Check out their new tumbler. They have limited quantities available. Or check out a command model and get pitted. Clinic RC. So Clinic RC launched their new Truggy and Buggy Droop gauge this week. Today is the last day to order them. If you're listening to this podcast, if you're at SilverState, I'm sure Tony will have some. Maybe I'll pick one up. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to track the Droop on some. I'm going to get busy wrenching her in a bit. Got some projects in the mix here. And shout out to RCGP, House of RC. Oh, RCGP Nemo Raceway just opened. So that's event 3. I think that's going to be popular. I think a lot of British guys are going to go to that. That's good to see. House of RC. Shout out to JTP RC, Jared T-Bird Shop. Check out the DR Race Shop. And just shout out to Alex Hagberg and my good buddy RC Kevin, who I'm finally going to meet her soon at SilverState. Max, yeah, lots of racing in Europe this weekend. And in America too. Not as much as last weekend, but definitely Europe was the place for all the good racing this weekend. Portugal, to be exact.
Yeah. Euro Warmup / IBC, always one of the biggest races in the summertime for Europeans. Almost everyone goes there usually.
All right. Well, I think before we get into that, I think we're going to talk about, because they did have the J Concept Spring Indoor Nationals. We don't really have much news today, so we're just going to go into these real quick race caps. We're really going to talk about the IBC race and explain how that went. So they did have the INS 12 Spring Indoor Nationals at Adrenaline RC Raceway. It's in Virginia. It's an indoor track. It's like under a tent, I want to say. And it's one of the rare tracks that you get where it's longer that way. You know what I mean? And you don't see that much. You know, there's like Beach RC is like that. It's like square exactly. And like at one end of the square. So it's like each end is the same way, but this is more rectangle. It reminds me of a mini Padova. That's what it reminds me of.
Adrenaline looks much like Mini Padova, but actually it's like interesting because that style of track, like the driver standard end of track, that's almost more common than not when it's the Central European tracks like South Germany and then Austria. A lot of tracks are just like that. It's interesting
like
how it is
in depth, like longer in depth.
So longer than wider.
Okay, I don't know. I know, like, you know, the other track that reminds me of that is the big 8-scale track in Austria. That's what we're talking about. Fairing is very rare.
Like that. And then one track which had the Euros, MSC Sand Mine. That's also, it's on a hill too. So when you come down the straightaway, it's like you jump down, and then it's a huge downhill. And
is this the one with the yellow and purple? Okay, is this
yellow,
the one with
yellow and blue and yellow and blue? Ronafalk won that year in 2014.
Right.
Euros for there.
Does that track still exist?
Yeah. I think they had the German Nats there a year or two ago.
Okay, so this was a decent sized race. We didn't. I watched a little bit of it. Mod was there. He did some good coverage of it as well. This is a great facility. This belongs to the Hardison family. So Jacob Hardison and Hannah Hardison, who works for J Concepts, and they also race 8 scale here. It's a little tight for 8 scale, but they do race it. I don't think they race Nitro though. I think it's just Ebuggy. No, I'm sorry. They may race Nitro as well.
They do race Nitro, but I don't think that's popular in that.
They race Nitro, but when the temperature drops below 55 degrees, they don't race it for some reason.
Okay. Probably they can't get enough sort of ventilation.
Yeah. So they had the race there. Fend went there. Let's see who won. Two-wheel drive buggy.
Fend won both classes, both mains. So Evans finished second in four-wheel drive, but then fifth in two-wheel drive. Tollard second in two-wheel drive, and Setzer third. And then Aaron Kaufman was fourth in two-wheel drive. But yeah, full drive, Evans second, Setzer third, Tollard fourth, and Kaufman fifth.
Well, it wasn't that big of a turnout. Jason Rona even run. He made the A-man in two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So
they were barely 10. They were barely 10 in the modified, 11 in full drive and 10 in two-wheel drive modified.
Interesting. Brennan Schimmel still going on his stock tier. He's been tearing the stock class up for the last year and a half. Continues to do that. Yeah. Congratulations to him. That's what they decided to focus on, and that's what they're doing. But congratulations. Kind of a small race, but it had good coverage. It caught my eye this weekend while I was in between watching this because I kind of got glued to the television. Not so much to the television, but definitely when it was the top mains, I was out there watching it. So congratulations to Fend. Congratulations to Adrenaline RC Raceway and all of that. And yeah, a little light, but hey, also Jason Renner can still probably wheel. Jason Renner can still wheel.
He's great. I think he's won a few 40 plus, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
40 plus events here and there. He's been racing a lot with Brent Telke. I think they race like closely sometimes, at least.
I guess it's good to get out and still have fun and enjoy what you did while you started all of this too. All right, so we're going to talk about the big enchilada, which is the IBC EFRA warm-up. But that is brought to you this week by TNR Fuels. Here at the NNRC, we are all about that glory, and that glory is nitro. TNR Fuels is the hottest nitro fuel on the market, owned and operated by Chris Nelson, made by racers for racers. It's currently available through hobby shops, and you can directly order through him. For more information, you can find them at www.tnrfuels.com or contact Chris directly on Facebook or House of RC, or just shoot him an email at chris@tnrfuels. Thank you, TNR Fuels, for all your support. It'd be good to see you at SilverState. So, Max, should we just go ahead and share? Because I think the first thing that I noticed about this is, wow, I just want to go to this race one day. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, Barcelos is supposed to be like a touristy type of town, like beaches and stuff like that, I would think. Or you can go to the beach. And when you go look at this facility, it looks like a world-class facility. It's got bleachers. It's got a humongous driver stand. It's a beautiful track.
Yeah.
I really want to go to this track one day. You know what I mean? And the track is badass. So I think we should just pull up this picture. While I do that, Max, why don't you explain to people who may not have tuned in last week exactly what this race was while I bring up the YouTube race of it?
Yeah, so a lot of people probably, especially Americans, don't know, but this race was the Euro warm-up as well as the IBC. So the IBC has been sort of a standalone race organized by the Figueiredo family, who are also, I believe, owners, or at least very much in charge of how this track is being run. And they've been having quite a big turnout each year now since they started. And now they organize this race together with the European warm-up. And the Euros warm-up, it has always been sort of one of the biggest races in Europe, because everyone who shows up to the Euros, or almost everyone, goes to the warm-up as well to test tires and car setup and all of that, and get used to the surface. So we explained it on the previous pod, but if you missed it or didn't get it, then it's basically what they did is they ran practice and qualifying normally, But then after qualifying on Saturday night, they took the top 15, and then they had an own main for that top 15. Or I don't know if it's top 15 or top
Yeah, it was the top
12.
15
Top
of
15,
after
yeah.
qualifying.
After qualifying, yeah. So on Saturday night, they had a 45-minute main for that top 15 qualifiers. And that was the International Buggy Challenge, or IBC, main. So Ongaro, well, I don't know, we don't go into that, but Ongaro ended up winning that. And he's the IBC champion. Then on Sunday, they continued the race program as it was being run as per the Euro warm-up would be running. So they had ladder mains with even odd and even mains, and full bump-up system, semis, and then a 45-minute main, which was the Euro warm-up main then. And the winner of that was crowned the Euro warm-up champion. So basically,
right,
that
guys.
was the sort of race format they run at this race, which was very interesting, and they sort of got two races into one, which is nice.
Yeah, and actually, this was actually quite a long race, I do believe. So just for people that this is the start of the IBC race that happened Saturday afternoon in Portugal. As you can see, this is a beautiful track. It's a glue track for people that don't know. So it's actually sealed up with a mixture of like glue, wood glue, or oh man, that's where Ronald made his mistake and just dropped back to last, like not even on the first lap on this in this race. So basically, it's a mixture of Elmer's type glue and water, like 1 gallon of glue to 3 or 4 parts of water, and it's sprayed all over the track. It seals it. It gives it a lot of traction. It eventually does wear away, but from what I was talking to a couple of guys that I was talking to, like the Killex and Ronald and even Joseph, and they just said it's a lot of traction, and you can see it. Like, it's so much traction. And this race started Tuesday, I want to say, Max.
No, I think Wednesday or Thursday. They didn't.
No, but it was supposed to start Tuesday, I think, and then it rained.
Oh, that could be true. But
so this was quite a long race. I think they wanted to give people a lot of testing time. On this track, because it is a warm-up. And so, oh, by the way, we do not own the rights to this. This is the rcspecial.com. You can check them out. Also, their YouTube channel. We'll leave a link for that in the written description. The other people who did do the coverage of this while we're looking at this. So this race was a bit long. I do know Joseph kind of went there a day late. And like, I guess he was right to do that because it rained. And then they had to actually reapply the glue, I was told, after the rain, because it does wash away with water. I mean, it doesn't wash completely away, but, you know, it...
Yeah, perhaps that's why it was so high grip, because what I understood was last year it wasn't that crazy of a grip.
Right, so they put a fresh layer of glue right on, and when that glue is, like, it's really a lot of grip. So, this track, a lot of people... This is just... I mean, I love it. Like, the red inlay, the paint on the inlay, and it didn't wear out. You know how a lot of people put this... that paint the inside of the track and it wears out so fast.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, you know, it's just beautiful. All the, even the, maybe they do it every day or whatever, but even the writing on the track and all the stuff, it just looks so great. Well, the glue seals it all in, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. Wow. Beautiful facility. I wish I could go here. Super, super hard. That's what I keep hearing from a lot of the top guys.
Yeah, super technical. A lot of off cambers, like almost every corner is somehow off cambered. Then a lot of these sort of accelerations where you have to keep your speed up, but you have to change sort of your line consistently. And a lot of these sort of off camber switchback sections, like these sort of step downs, and these sections are very difficult because you're very, very it's very, very easy to turn in too soon. And obviously then you hit a pipe, and when it's high grip, you're gonna be flipping over. And as the track is so high speed, so high grip, and it isn't that sort of difficult as in sort of a DNC would be, where it's bumpy and that's why it's difficult. This is just that you have to push so hard that you start making mistakes. But then when the track is in itself that difficult, you lose a lot of time by making those mistakes. So you have to sort of find the balance of pushing as hard as you can to keep your speed up, but then reduce mistakes, like you see here from Ongaro, I believe.
Yeah, and then what I saw was if you just touch the pipe the wrong way, you lost so much momentum. You could, if you're in a fight
Yeah.
with somebody, you lose 2-3 spots. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if you flip, I watched Runnerfolk flip over, I think in the EFRA main, and I'm just like, oh my god, it took like 20 seconds. Okay, probably not that long, but it took such a long time for a marshal to come get him. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, you should have been making those mistakes, but it's just this track. I mean, I'll tell you, if you come up over this big jump right here. I think this is one of the hardest sections of the track. That chicane right there, that off camber,
Yeah.
on camber chicane, it's on a hill. Like you're going left, right on a hill. I think that's super difficult to go through there.
Yeah,
So
it's very
fast.
difficult to keep your speed. You want to be right at the top of the hill, but then if you're in the top, you're very, very keen to turn into too soon and hit the pipe inside, and that's what makes this track so difficult. And then all of the sort of elevation changes, you go up, down consistently. Like here, almost every corner is somehow lifted or tilted. So yeah, this looks like a very, very difficult track, and
There
very,
is
very
no
high
flat
grip
part of
too.
this track.
Not really. Yeah, it's the whole track is tilted at some direction.
Look at the bleachers over here to your left. You have bleachers up to your right. It's set in a beautiful area. Looks like a beautiful facility. I hope to make it here one day. Very difficult for track. So talking to you, look at Elliot Booth said hard track. Talk to the Killex, hard. You know, they said it's hard, so much traction. Talk to Runnerfolk, I think Saturday before his main. He said this is probably the second hardest track he's driven on in his life, and the hardest track me in Pattaya in Thailand.
Yeah.
So this is not easy. Even but Joseph, I talked to Joseph, and he was shocked because he was like, I can't believe I'm actually doing as well as and Joseph drove pretty well. I mean, he in some of his qualifiers he did pretty good. I think he had like I think 17 might have been his best finish. And when I saw him in his qualifying, his car was pretty good. And he said, I'm shocked because you know him, he does not like these type of conditions at all.
Oh, and he hates high grip with a passion. So
yeah. So, but surprisingly, he was okay. He made the quarters, and I think he just missed bump into the semis. I think he just missed bump into the semis.
Hampus beat Joseph by a bit.
Okay.
I remember that, watching that.
Yeah. So it was just I can't say. What was your favorite part of the track? And then we'll move on to the actual racing part.
I kind of like the right side, and then this triple, like this double 90 triple. And I like the end of the straight and the right side, sort of that corner tabletop. Those are my favorite. And the start of the straight is actually cool too. So basically from the left side and then all the way down to that center triple, that's my sort of favorite part from the looks of it.
So anybody, if you guys want to see any more of the mains, they did have some Ebuggy mains and all that stuff. You can go to RC Special on YouTube or check them out on Facebook, and you can find this footage. So we're going to talk a little bit about them and whatnot. Let's talk about this race. So this was the IBC race. Let's bring up some results. Actually, I think we can minimize this. I think we showed enough of this. Let me minimize it.
So IBC results, what ended up happening on Saturday night was Ongaro ended up taking the win by quite a big margin, 17 seconds down to Canas. And Ronnefolk almost a lap down from there. We saw him have that
Oh, he went right to the back.
Yeah, so he came up quite strong. And then Berton in fourth, Robert Batlle in fifth, Berkan Kilic sixth, Figueiredo, the homeboy, seventh, another Portuguese driver, Monteiro, eighth, Savoia ninth, and Burak Kilic 10th. So pretty strong showing from sort of those Southern European crowds. So obviously Berton, Ongaro, Canas, and Batlle, all of these guys in top 5. Their cars are very good on these conditions. This is sort of one of the best type of surfaces for that pivot ball setup, that positive rear offset, where you have very, very little offset, and then the pillow ball front end, which it helps you turn in with these high speed, high grip corners. So you can see it like top 5. David is the only one with a C-Hub car. And then the next C-Hub car is Figueredo, and after that Savoia, and then only Sanketin, Barufolo. And I believe Coelho did run a C-Hub, but I'm not sure. I don't know if because he made a Facebook post where he said he preferred the C-Hub, but I don't know if he ran that at this race.
Well, let's have a look. We got Ongaro's car here. Thank you to Circus RC.
Yeah.
For their
Great
coverage. Max is geeking out on this.
Yeah, so what was interesting to me was seeing how laid in his shocks are. Because generally in front, you very rarely run all the way inside. You're in the center or one in from the center. But Davide ran all the way in. And again, Mugen Springs on its car. Not sure which coil count, but I'd imagine very basic for him, because in Italy tracks tend to be quite high grip. I believe he must have made some changes because some tracks, most of the tracks aren't this high grip. His front roll bar looks quite thick, so that's something that struck into my eye. But yeah, then interesting also was if you go to his radio tray is normal, but the rear end actually, if you get to that. Yeah, so get one picture from the... Oh, actually, we can actually talk about the engines too, now that you had the picture on there. This race was the first sort of big race meeting where people ran 12% fuel. I think everyone ran 12% fuel. There's few theories about this going around. Joseph thinks, or he's sort of testing, suggests that it's the best when the engine has a lot of compression. Then the 12% works well. My testing suggests it doesn't really matter a lot, but helping it would be bigger Venturi, getting more compression by taking shims out of the engine. And also, some people have this idea that P4 would be better because the oil burns hotter than the nitro. So they would imagine the P4 would be better because it's slightly cooler, so it would cool down the engine. But in my testing, when I did P4, which I usually run with 25%, with 12%, the P4 would not let the engine idle that well, and I'd had a lot of flame outs, so the idle was too weak. So then I went to P3 to get better idle and more security with the idle. So there's a lot of things people sort of try and figure out, but having a lot of compression is good. That's what in my testing I feel has been good, and Joseph testing suggested too. And then you get much better mileage with it, so that's positive. But yeah, right back to Ongaro's car. Here we see again all the way in on the rear shocks. Rear roll bar looks thick as well, but he usually runs a very thick rear roll bar. Looks like links, very similar to the old car. The rear end is pretty much the same as the old car. So center hole on the inside, so normal with roll centers. Nothing too crazy, so I think this is rather comfortable for Davide.
There's another front end picture.
Yeah, front end. One interesting thing is if you go one picture further, you could see how. Go one more. I think it's easier to see it from the other picture. Yeah, here you can see it. How down the front end is. He runs a massive. He can run the rear end at 30 millimeters, and the front end like 24, 20, 23. So there's a massive difference, and the car is super sort of front down at all times. I don't fully understand why he likes this, but this sort of makes the car very much more sort of point and shoot, and the car doesn't roll as one. But if you drive it very smoothly, as he obviously does, you can get a lot of corner speed by this because you have the rear high up, so you have very high roll center. But then the front end is down, so front has a very low roll center. So I think that's his idea of it. And yeah, but I mean, he looked very good, and he ended up winning Ebuggy and the IBC, and then
he won everything. He won everything besides Druggy because they didn't run Druggy. Let's have a look at a C-Hub car. Let's look at y'all Figueredo's car, and then we'll talk some more about the racer because we just
Yeah.
compared the C-Hub car. I mean, the Pitbull. So let's have a look. And we just want to say, I think, what was it? C-Hubs dominated the top 5 of both races, I think.
Oh, pivot balls.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Pillowball. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dominated.
So then on Sunday, there was not a single C-Hub car in top 5. So, yeah. Yeah, let's take a look on Joao's car, because I mean he was looking good on
Yes.
Ebuggy. He won one of
He
the
did.
mains, and
He was looking
ended up
pretty good.
finishing on the podium too. So.
Even Savoya was actually not bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So-
the new Kyosho rear end does definitely, I believe, help them on high grip, the wide pivot, and their car generally hasn't been bad on high grip. Its strength are just more shown on lower grip. So
similar
this
to
is-
Ongaro's car with the aggressively, his front end is aggressive downward as well.
Yeah, both cars do look. This is obviously much less, in my opinion, than Ongaro,
Yeah.
at least to my eye, but still very aggressive angle. I do like that too, especially the higher you grip and the smoother track. I like that style too, but Ongaro is the sort of most aggressive on that. What seemed interesting to me was I didn't see anything too drastically different on Joao's car compared to how I would normally run a Kyosho. On the front, you have the link quite up high on the tower. I think that's for him to help the turning the front end feels much smoother. It doesn't have a lot of jacking. Also, what is very notable is the camber. A lot of camber, both front and rear ends, if you can see it. That is, I think, just the fact that the car rolls quite a bit and it's so high grip. He wants to sort of ease that a bit. Of you don't have the tire, you have the tire gain grip when you go into the corner rather than have a lot of grip on the center.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you, I have not. The best way, you know who described this? Barkan said this is like running. He said this is more grip than AstroTurf or carpet.
Yeah. I mean, and it's weird because this type of surface lets your car slide a bit, but it's not like actual slide. Whereas AstroTurf and carpet, it's more of like it's more soft. The car lives more. But here the car is super stiff. The track surface is super stiff, and it sort of just slightly slides. But if you can't get the car to sort of slide around nicely. So it's like running on sort of asphalt, and you have to drive the car like you'll be running on asphalt and have the sort of stiff feel on the car. But then again, it's a buggy, so you can't have it sort of as stiff as you would want the car on asphalt. So you have to make a lot of compromises. Here again, we can see very, very low rear roll center. The link is quite high up to reduce jacking. So this is sort of, you can go into the corners harder. The links doesn't want to pull the car up, and the car rolls nicely into the corner with the links high up on the tower. I think that's what Joa has gone to. But yeah, shock angles seem quite normal with what they run. They run at the outside hall on the new car,
So-
thanks to the wide pivot.
So real quick, for my stupidity, my theory is with the links up high like that, right?
Yeah.
So when we're going around this, see, a lot of people, but you want to put it low, and you want the car to slide more or whatever like that, right? Because that's what happened with release point. But with this, it seems like it allows your car to drop down more.
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
It allows the car to sort of roll a bit more on its own by keeping the tire sort of more not under as much force. When you have the link super low, it tries to push the link or pull the link, and with that the car up, and the car tries to stay stiff. But then when there's so much grip, it's too stiff and it starts to flip over quite easy.
Yeah.
So that's what you're looking after with the high links. And I like the carbon fiber they have on the Kyosho. They have a lot of it, and looks really nice.
Yeah, this will be a hard track to run carbon fiber there.
Oh,
Like-
yeah. I mean, did you see? I think Burak Kilic posted a photo of his chassis after qualifying, and he was completely toasted, like his screws and all were almost fully out.
Oh, I would be so upset if I would break front truck towers, like graphite shock towers.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
definitely.
This sort of glue surface makes the top of the surface very scratchy because it's stone, and then it's glue. So it's sort of stone that's just very hard and doesn't play. So basically you're running against sort of sandpaper almost, and it wears out your car quite quickly.
All right. Let's go through. Let's move on. So, any surprises? Hold on. Any surprises from the IBC final?
To me, no. I think both Portuguese driver Joao and Monteiro, they are quite fast. They should be there. I'd say my biggest surprise was seeing Barufolo that low, but then again, knowing that the Techno doesn't really suit tracks like this, I'm not that surprised. Then Coelho, I'm not quite sure what happened to him, but he seemed to have quite a struggle. I'd expect him.
He
to
was
be up
fast
there.
though. He was fast
Yeah,
in
that's the
qualifying.
thing. Like, and we remember last time when the Euros were in Portugal, what happened? He won. So I'd expect him to be one of the top players on July.
My biggest surprise, I would have to say, is Robert, 5th. Maybe not a top 3, but Robert was good all weekend, and
Yeah,
he was
wouldn't
better
call
than
that-
what he's been in a long time, I would say.
Yeah, you're right. Compared to his results at DNC and some of other results like Montpellier and stuff like that, this is maybe a surprise. But these sort of surfaces is strong suit, high grip, sort of high speed. That's what
These
he's
Mugans are
always
good on
liked.
this type of stuff too. You know what I mean?
The Mugen style car with sort of associated being a player in there as well, obviously. With their having the similar philosophies in the design. This sort of track, in my mind, is made for these type of cars. So.
Yeah, I like how you thought about what you said just now. Similar philosophies and design philosophies.
No, but I mean, I gotta be honest though. Like, these aren't like, it's not like the RC 8B3 when it was released. It's not anymore like that. But it's sort of still the basic the things I think of as principle of these cars are very similar, and they function in the same way.
I'm gonna say who I thought was really good and his results don't match is Zankatine El Machete. He was good. He had a top 5 run going at one point, and he in qualifying, and he made one mistake, and he was leading the LCQ. I mean, it was still 8 minutes to go when he made a mistake and he broke something, and he didn't make the final on Sunday. But Alex was really good at this race. He made mistakes and he broke.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting seeing how fast Italians are. Like, Polito wasn't even here, and he's definitely a player gonna be when the Euros are. So Polito, Sanketin, Barufalo, Ongaro, Berton, all of these guys. Like, come on, like Italians are very, very strong. No joke.
all right. Let's move on to Sunday. So Sunday they had one Ebuggy main. I think Ongaro won.
Yeah, Ongaro won
This
the
one,
first main.
and then they had 2 more on the Sunday, which actually was one was really good. Where Ronafog passed Coelho on the last lap, like he bubbled over that triple before it went up to my favorite part of the section, and people's like, oh, he CT'd Coelho. I'm like, like it was 50-50. It's 50-50 when it's the Viking. It's 50-50. No, it was kind of Ronafog didn't touch him, and like he had that line, and then like Coelho just kind of took him out a little bit. But Ronafog was able to keep on and hold on for second. An Ebuggy. When you have Ronafog telling you that this track is hard, it's hard. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Sunday rocks up, and it's ladder mains. I missed a good bit of these mains. In fact, I tuned in. They happened so fast. I tuned in, like, I woke up like 7:30 and they were halfway through one of the semis already, you know?
Yeah. And I think they ran a lot of the lower mains on Saturday as well, at least once.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't finish. They didn't do the final until late, like 12-ish.
Yeah.
It was weird. So let's see. So they had semis. I believe they took, I don't know, because it was
6 and 6, and then the last 13th driver was from the LCQ. That's how the format works at EFRA. So 12 car mains, but then the LCQ, you get the 13th driver.
Okay, got you. Okay, got you. Wasn't sure how it worked. So Ronafalk had to squeak in his semi, kind of. I think and even in his semi, he started
He
on.
was, yeah, he David has had some quite bad starts recently, but yeah, he made it through in fourth, then had a bad start, then climbed back up to sixth. In the
Yeah, but
main.
I mean, to be honest, like I think Ongaro was in one of these and Canas was in the other, and it was just evident like nobody really had nothing for either of these two.
Yeah,
Canas was the
they
only
were-
person that had something for Ongaro, and he didn't even have nothing for him at the end of the day.
Yeah. Berton was not that far behind on Sunday, but even then, he was almost a lap down from Ongaro. Canas was like, what's that? Over 20 seconds behind Davide. So yeah, but I mean, I got to backtrack a bit of what I said. I said that this was sort of Ongaro's track last year, and I was a bit of hesitant with the new car, see him some sort of not being that confident. Clearly, I was wrong. I don't know what's gonna face this guy. Like he's always
DNC
like no
phases
matter
him.
what. Yeah, DNC is probably the only race where he doesn't look like himself, his dominant self, but it's insane. Like the way he can dominate on tracks like this, kind of like remember
He
like
Mayfields
last
everybody.
time-
He looks
Yeah.
like when Mayfield
And
just
this
dominates
isn't-
everybody.
Yeah, but this is even in my mind more dominant than Mayfield because he's dominant throughout qualifying. He's like there isn't even a spot where he looks he's out of his game.
Not at this race. He must have listened to this
No.
podcast and said, "I'm going to show there's
I don't know,
there's,
but I mean,
there's mofos."
it's funny because last year I embraced him as like the number one, no doubt. Then I had some doubts, and then he proves yet again that he's like he's like imagine he won Montpellier, he's won both rounds of the Italian Nats, he won here. Okay, he had a bad DNC, but come on, like this kid's fucking insanely good. I don't know like what to say.
All right. So my question is, this is a warm up.
Yeah.
So some people treated this as a warm up. I think Ronafalk decided to treat it as a warm up. It looked like to me because like everybody's gridding up, and I see Bertine in there like changing tires, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they're not in no hurry to change tires. So like,
I think though, to be honest, just as I praised Ongaro, he's been doing this before. He's looked super dominant at warm-ups before. 2018 Freixedas, I believe he won in 2019 in Ongaro Ring.
but he hasn't won a Euros yet.
Yeah, that's what I was coming to. So he like in Freixedas, he beat everyone by a lap, almost like he did here. Freixedas very fast in qualifying, and then in the main just crumbled. So I'm like, is that gonna happen again? Like, surely he should be able to win a Euros now. He's so dominant at these other races. He's a world champion. Like, but I mean, that imagine if he doesn't win it either this time, like having this dominant performance at the warm up, and then maybe
I don't know,
maybe he
dude.
doesn't win it even now. Obviously, I would like him to win it because he obviously would deserve it. But that's an interesting thing, sort of, to think about, and that's something popped into my mind as well. Like having this dominant performance at warm ups. Perhaps the way of what Ronafalk's been doing for a long time, which is even in his back show and HB days, he always tested a ton at the warm up, like a lot of different stuff he tested, and he looked to consistently try to improve his game. And David is very different in my mind, at least, to Ongaro, where Ongaro seems to run his car similar everywhere.
Mhm.
So he goes to the track, he has his own setup, own thing, few tweaks here and there, perhaps change tires, and that's it. And he just does his thing. Whereas in my mind, David is more of a driver who adjusts the car a lot according to the situation. He likes to test. He likes to understand what he does when he's testing, and he adjusts his car according to the track, and then he drives as best as he can around that sort of conditions. So I think that's differentiating these two drivers, and perhaps David is strong when Euros come. And perhaps
maybe,
someone
maybe.
like Coelho is much stronger when the Euros are. Perhaps they even send Tessman over again. Who knows? But is Ongaro able to improve his game when others do? or what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see.
I know, but emotionally, you just want him to race because we don't get to see him race. That it's been.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm watching the Euro finals, Euro warm-up finals, and I'm like, why is he in the drive? Why is he in pit lane? Damn it, what's going on? I'm freaking out, like, And then I see he joined, and I was like, okay, so they decided to use this as just a test. I figured they put on some tires. They wanted to see because they have to find something because Ongaro is out there killing it. Like, and Canas is right behind him. I think they can. It's just going to be so hard to catch him up at this track, at this level that is at. It's
Perhaps. Well, we got to remember too, like David has been running the car for a month now.
Well, no, it's more than a month.
No, but I mean, it's like he went to DNC and then.
Well, these guys have had much more time on their cars, and I'll be honest with you, I don't feel that these smooth on-road style tracks like this are David's strong point.
Oh, 100% not. But I think David is a type of driver who can win DNC and then a track like this in the same year. Whereas Ongaro, I'll be having a very hard time saying he's going to win DNC anytime soon.
All right.
So that's
before people No, go ahead. I gotta stop interrupting you.
Yeah, but I think it's just, to me, this sort of storyline coming up to the year is going to be very interesting. Can finally Ongaro get his first Euros after being this dominant and this being sort of his style of track?
Mm-hmm.
Or can David, with a new car, a new platform, a new attitude, come and get his first Euros in a long, long time?
Mm-hmm.
And a challenging surface for him? Or is there going to be a new European champion like Canas? Can he finally step up and get that big win, sort of big championship win that he's sort of, because he's oftentimes he's second or third because it's Ongaro or David always winning or something like this. And I think there's a lot of like storylines going into the years, and this race just embraces those a lot more. And I really, really like that.
Yes, I would have to agree with all that. Let's not forget the Killex. The Killex were fast too. Burak was really good.
Yeah,
Burak
finished fifth. Burak finished fifth on Sunday, and actually we kind of forgot to talk about Ebuggy, but I mean Burak third in Ebuggy. Ongara won, Figueroa second, and Burak in third. So very, very strong showing for, I mean, both Killex. Berkan in seventh on Sunday, so they're up there.
And they're headed home, so they're not testing today. I was talking to him earlier. Robert Battier, fourth.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Emotionally, I want these guys to race, but I think they did. But when I don't know. I was just hoping Ron Falk would make it up into this top five, and I thought he was at one point. But I get it. But for me, my biggest surprise again is Robert Battier, man. Robert Battier looking pretty good at the warm-ups at this type of track.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't feel it as a surprise, but I can see where you're coming from because.
Not surprised, but he was.
Yeah, but I'm very happy that he's here. Like, this is sort of the Robert
I'm looking for.
Robert we want to see, because it's sad to see guys like even Savoya at one point of his career, where you see Robert and drivers like this who have passed European championships, drivers who have dominated in their time, really struggling to even get sometimes in the A. It's sad to see, and now seeing Robert being like consistently both days in the top five. That's very nice to see. So I hope he can find something for the Euros. Again, this is not perfectly his type of track, but he's always good here. He's always like up for a top five on a track like this.
Okay.
But to me, actually, talking about surprises, was seeing Berton finish both days and finish quite high up, third and fourth. So that's looking a lot more promising than a lot of his previous results.
We can't count him out.
Oh no, definitely not. Just like last time, just ended up winning it quite out of nowhere, to be honest.
Max, real quick, one more highlight before we go into some of the forgettables and probably things that we didn't like about this. Daniel Parente, you've talked about him quite a few times.
Yeah.
Seems to be making himself a name on the big thing here. He just missed. He was in the semi. He ended up finished 15th, but he just missed making the bumper, and he did make the IBC, where he finished last, but young Spanish driver, apparently.
Yeah, young Spanish S-Works driver. He made the main in Montpellier. Won one of the Spanish nationals fair and square against Canas. And here now finishing in the top 15 on the first day, and then just barely missing the A. So he's one of those new Spanish drivers that's coming up, and he even has a younger brother who is quite fast as well. So perhaps there's something there for him too.
Yeah, we're
But,
just
yeah.
having a look at Elliot Boots' S-Works while Max was talking.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not too many under the hoods this week.
No, I would have liked to see much more. I'd like to see Canas's car if he's running very different to Boots. Boots actually running a Kyosho filter. I don't know why would that be. You see there, yeah, Kyosho air filter. I don't know why he'd run that. Weird.
Maybe he prefers them.
Yeah. One interesting thing I see here is that's one of those Reds pipes that has a lot of power. I can't remember the number of it, but it's not this torque pipe which I enjoyed. It's one of those more aggressive power band pipes. So I guess that's just the 12% fuel and the high grip track.
I would agree with that. Guys, I think you're gonna just start seeing engines get modified for more compression. Like my buddy down here, where he scooped the head out and all that stuff. All right, Max. Surprises in a negative way for me, and my gripes in a minute, but we have to pay some bills. And with that said, everybody, you know what? This podcast is brought to you by High Tech RC. High Tech RCD is a leader in RC systems, delivering the highest performance and reliability, supported by a dedicated customer service personnel. You can try out the high-tech servers. I have the HSBC 938-1THs. They just released the DB778 WPs, which are great for 10-scale racing on and off-road. For your 8-scale needs, you want the 938-1s. They both support efficient brushless motors, titanium gears, low consumption, constant output, and metal cases. They also regenerate power back into your battery. And the DB778s are waterproof. They're also manufactured with the high technology industrial servo innovation. You can also pick yourself up an RDX2 Pro charger, which I have, which I really enjoy, which I'm going to use in my record to power my SMC batteries. I'm plugging away in my Octane Marine Animal Cat 2 when I go to try and break my 115 mile per hour ready to run RC boat record. I'm going to use the RDX2 Pro charger that will use the Bluetooth dongle that I can then monitor my batteries while they charge on my phone. So trust in High Tech, your server and charger headquarters. Visit hightechrcd.com, where to buy, to find your nearest retailer. Thank you, High Tech. Thank you for their support. Please, guys, show them some love as well. All right, Max, I think I have to talk about this. The curse of Lefty pick continued. I picked Barufalo to do well at this race, and he did not do well. I'm sorry, Barufalo. I was just getting excited. You did not make the final in the Euro main, but you did make it in the IBC main, but you finished, I think you finished last. So
yeah, almost last.
I think he finished 13th. Not a good weekend for Barufalo. You said you kind of expected that. I thought he was gonna come out.
I would have expected him to be higher than that, though, because he showed good speed at Montpellier, and that's quite high grip.
Right.
Showed good speed at Italian Nats. That's not low grip at all, I don't think. So surprising, really. Like now in his high grip, it's like so bad. I mean, it's not disaster, but I mean, this is not where he's been past few months at all.
Right. All right. So my next question to you would be: we have this race coming up in July. It's the actual Euros. Talking to guys, I think the track is actually going to stay the same. I don't think they're going to change it, which is normal. I think Euro tracks don't have to be changed, I believe.
I mean, the rules state that it should have been more than, I don't know if it was 80% or something like crazy amount that it should be changed, but they never change anything. So I don't know why that rule even exists.
Yeah. So they'll be there in in July, I know Joseph, as we record, Joseph and Ron Falcon, all the guys that are testing right now. If you're there and you're Ron Falk, what are you testing? What are you getting ready for in July? What are you thinking? What would you think if you was Ron Falk? How can you stop Ongaro?
So if I was Runner Folk, I'd be trying something completely different now that the race is over. That's what we usually did. We always did this. We stayed after the year's warm up. So usually it's a lot of it is tires. Really, tires are very good to sort of test and find like something very different compounds. Even sometimes different brands to see if your brand is like struggling and you need something different for the Euros. Car wise for David, I know, thanks to being a Mayako factory driver, I know there's a lot of stuff they need to test. I don't know if they're testing it here or they're going elsewhere to test. But usually some prototype parts, some sort of more radical setup changes, tracks like this, sort of high grip, very smooth condition. Those are very rare to come by on a random practice day. Usually you come by them just after a big race because they've been smoothed out and they've been sort of made good for the race. So this is sort of perfect time for testing. So I'd say stuff that you wouldn't normally test, more radical changes, that's the sort of thing for the next few days. And prototype parts being part of that.
Yeah, and then they're off to Redovon. So hopefully when I get back from SilverState next week, I'll get Joseph on her to have a full debrief of it. He's all miserable and in science mode right now. I was trying to get him on today, but we couldn't. So, which is fine. I'll debrief with that. Real quick, what Euro guys that weren't there that you think would be in the final or in the semis in July?
Polito, 100%.
Polito, Skidmore's?
Yeah. Skidmore would be sort of my next to come into mind. Yeah, I'd say Polito in my mind is 100% the main. I can't see him not making the main. The level he's racing at in Italy. Skidmore's, they are sort of a bit more iffy. They're always very fast in UK, and why not in Montpellier sometimes? But both of them, to be honest,
we're talking
a lot
semis.
Of guys
we're not even talking finals.
Yeah. Okay, Skidmore is definitely a guy I'd.
Neil Craig.
He's a bit touch and go too. It's like some years he finished second, some years he barely makes the semis. So Craig would be good. Lee, in my books, is a bit more out of it. He hasn't been that fast recently, especially in 8 scale. He's been looking okay in 10 scale at times. But yeah, I'd say Skidmore and Craig are my sort
You think
of
we'll see
best picks from UK?
How about like guys like Hatton, Pecco, Orlowski? You think they'll go to these races?
If Orlowski goes, he'd be interesting though. He'll be very interesting. It's hard to say what he could do. It's high grip, so he could do well, and he's most likely going to be running a Mugen, so that would suit this track. I just can't see him making the main though. It's so difficult at the Euros. Yeah.
If he goes.
Yeah, if he goes. Drivers like Joona and Pekko from Finland are it's so hard to say. If the setup suits them, if the track suits them, sure, they could make the semis. Main will be really, really hard. But yeah, I think Polito is the number one guy.
I would agree with Polito. I would agree with Polito and Skidmore's. I put Skidmore's in the semi and I put Polito in the final.
Yeah, I could agree.
And you know what? I could put one of the Skidmore's in the final too, I think.
Yeah, if they're having a good week, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised to see Johnny in the main.
Okay, couple more questions. One more question, then we'll go into what we didn't like real quick. Then that's it for today. What American would do well? I have, before you go on, I have Fend. I think Mayfield obviously would do well, but I think drivers that would shine at this race would be Fend, Rivkin, and then like guys like these younger guys like Seth Van Dalen, who races at Hobbyplex a lot. Lots of grip there. Brandon Rose would be good here. Thornhill type of track, those type of races, I think would really shine her. I like to say this is like Astro. You know what I mean? Astro, you don't have to worry about traction. You already got it. You have to dial out traction. So you ain't got to worry about making traction. You got to get away from it. It's always easier, I think, to get away from traction than to try and find it. So with that equation out of the equation, this allows guys to focus more on just going faster. So what Americans for you would be fast at this race?
I think the grip level would be good on Rivkin. The layout, I don't see it. It's, in my opinion, Rivkin is more of a calm driver, and here you need to really attack the track, which I don't see him do. Even Thornhill, where he's been really fast, which is high grip, the track is always very smooth and flowing, where this is not that. You have to really attack the corners and keep the speed up, and you have to force the car to keep the speed up. That's why I think Mayfield, to me, is one of the only drivers. And one driver that just popped into my head was Aiden Horn. He could be really good because the way he drove. Yeah, Cole Tollard.
They did good at
but both of these guys who done really well last year at the Nats, sort of higher grip track, and they sort of the way they drove, to me, looked very good. So these guys could be sort of looking very good here.
I forgot somebody.
Who?
Mason Fuller.
Yeah, why not? But I don't think this is the strongest track for HB, though.
Maybe with the Losi.
With the Losi, I'd see him doing better at this track, thanks to the rear end mostly.
Yeah.
This is not the sort of strong track of the HB style car. I'd like to say Fend. I'd expect him to be super fast, but I expect him to make too many mistakes. That's why I see Mayfield as the strongest one from American on this type of track. Before the podcast, when we were discussing, I thought Rivkin wouldn't be that fast, but I think he'd be okay. He wouldn't beat Ongaro, no way. And I don't even think Mayfield has a shot at that track like this. But yeah, Mayfield would be the closest. Rivkin would be then.
No, I think Fenn and Mayfield would go.
Fenn is some very big of a question mark, because sometimes when the track is technical, he does good, but then sometimes when the track is technical, he does real bad. So it's hard to sort of find what's his thing.
You know what? We want to know what the viewers think. What do you guys think? What American? Give us your top 3 Americans that would do well at this race. You think could go here and win this race, or finish top 3? Let us know in the comments of this when you listen to it, or shoot me a message and let me know. All right, so it wasn't all unicorns and cupcakes and rainbows at this race. For us on streaming side, we always, because we always have to. We have our likes, we don't have our dislikes, we have our likes. So this comes part to where we have our complaints, and all my complaints comes down to is my RCM really sucks balls, and I wish they would use Everlaps or Live RC from now on. And that's it. Like, I have the app, I watch it. I have the app, I know how to use it. I also know how to use it online. But I think like the communication was lacking or something, or they weren't uploading it at the track. But man, Everlaps is much better, and our Live RC is better. And then the overlay, okay. So I have to say that I'm happy that we had coverage, and thank you to the people that did it, because I was worried that we wasn't gonna have it. But they need to get some better cameras, because at one point it was like, what's less than 240p? 180?
144 or something.
Yeah, 144. Me might have been down in double digits at one point. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was just the lens couldn't focus on the cars fast enough. When it got going, the coverage was pretty good, but it just kind of lacked. It lacked maybe somebody there getting individual laps. Maybe like it definitely lacked the Neo feel, getting some interviews. And also I just got kind of bummed that we only saw Canas and Ongaro, like most of these mains.
Yeah.
And like they were battling nobody, and there was so many good races behind. But to be fair, the announcer, I think he was controlling it. I don't know what it is, Italian, it might have been Portuguese. It was funny. But I get it. Like I know how it is when you're doing a race like that. I had my experience at RCGP. It's hard to see everything, especially if you can't see the track. But it just makes me appreciate RC Racing TV and Live RC for what they do. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm happy, but it wasn't the best. But we got to see it. We got to watch it. They need to get the overlays worked out, and they need to get dude in the announcer booth a partner to help out. That's it.
Yeah,
I think.
I did. The biggest thing I sort of want to take from this is I'm sort of done to giving any sort of excuses of why European coverage is bad, because we're way past COVID now. We're back to racing. We have big races. I don't think there's any excuse anymore to not put proper money, be it EFRA or be it any individual race organizer, to have a very good live stream. Be it then just get RC Racing TV to go to the event, or put money into sort of the camera crew who knows what they're doing. They could be RC guys, but just people who have done it before, have some practice, so they know how it runs smoothly. But I because before COVID, we hyped up RC Racing TV and lots of coverage. Coverage in Montpellier was amazing. So the European coverage was really good, and we hyped it up. And then during COVID, we riled a lot on Live RC and said they need to improve. But right now, it just seems Live RC has made some small improvements here and there, but the European broadcasting level has come down a lot. Like, it's just awful, like a lot of times. Obviously, it's better than nothing. And I like they have multi-camera setups and they have some sort of scoring system on screen. But it doesn't look professional. It doesn't look like it's been made with intention. And that's something it's so sad to see it missing. And the fact that we previously had Red RC and Ebuggy, who would do reporting and videos and all of that sort of filled some of the gaps that were missing elsewhere. So perhaps there wasn't always a live stream, but the broadcast from Ebuggy, the pit walks, the practice laps, the quali runs, all the write-ups after each quali run, interviews with drivers, all the things he did, that was something that brought people closer to the event, even though they were away. We don't have that anymore. So either we need better live streaming, or we need someone to fill that gap that Neo has left. Chris is doing a great job, but he's not Phil. He's not doing the same things as Phil was doing. He's not native English speaker. Yes, he does news in English, but that's not his writing isn't his sort of number one thing. He's very good at taking photos. I like his pit bits, and he's very good at sort of broadcasting results and news and keeping people on sort of onto the race. But that sort of reporting and journalism in my field and track, like pit walks was amazing. Like, that's sort of number one thing I'm missing. But feeling close to the event, I don't feel that anymore. Very few events I have that feeling.
But I'll be bringing that from SilverState this weekend. And if I ever when I get to Europe, I would have to agree there. I would say maybe even they could have worked out something where they bought a couple of James and Matt and Nick over.
Yeah.
And then they worked with this crew together. But it's I get it. Look, I'm happy that the people done it and we got it, but it needs to get better. That's it. And we rag on other we get on other races for not having good coverage. So we have to get on this company. The intentions were good. It was there, but they'll get better. Hopefully they get better with time. I'm glad we got it. I'm glad we got something.
And the issue isn't about, people will say, the coverage was okay. I like the racing. My issue is that RC's racing should be a professional sport, and it mostly is. But the coverage we have isn't. It has nothing to do with sort of professional coverage. It's sort of it feels like it's people who just have passion for RC and very little resources doing it for the fun.
Right.
And
right. I get you.
that's amazing, and that I'm very thankful that it's being done. But that's not something like we need that section of RC being professional, so we can all enjoy it more, and perhaps other people as well.
Sweet. I agree with you. All in all, congratulations to the people at the Barcelos track. I don't know the actual name of the track. I know it's something. I know it has a name, but I can't remember. To Yao Figueiredo and his family who put in all the hard work. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the Euros there in July. And yeah, it's going to be some good racing. I want to see, can the Viking put it together? And because I keep saying the Viking, but we can, because let's be honest, like that's the biggest competition. Like I think in my brain is Ron Falk versus Ongaro. Like, that's the two world champions in that group of guys right there. And the two guys who are like vying to be the best in Europe. Not saying that Camas and Berton aren't. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They're kind of the Savoia and Batte of the old sort of.
Yeah, there we go. These are the young lions of our European. One's a little older, a little bit more mature. And the other one's still coming along, but it's going to be good. This is what makes it exciting, and then it's going to be good going into the Euros. We got RCGP coming up, so they're going to meet there in Italy. Hey, we need to get people going to this race. So if you're on the fence, let's go to Italy. I'm going. Tickets booked. Yeah. I'll be in Italy eating spaghetti and real pizza. I want pineapple on my pizza in Italy. How you like that?
Yeah, and to people who are sort of outside of Italy, who have never been to this place, it's right by the Reds factory. It's very close up from this track. So if you're a Reds driver, you could visit their factory most likely. It's a very nice sort of a kind of small Italian city. Lots of nice food, and it's a very nice to go with your family. It's not, I think the Ferrari Museum is not that far away.
Really?
The track is amazing. The venue is nice. And the people who are hosting the race are amazing. And with the RCGP schedule and the race format, you get a lot of track time. And that
and we get to go hang out afterwards.
Very nice. Yeah,
let's go.
It's gonna be a very nice event. Italian events always sort of have very nice atmosphere, and people enjoy and have a laugh. And so if you're on the fence of going, you're outside of Italy, you should definitely go.
Yeah, because this guy right here actually has his ticket booked like a whole month and a bit before it's actually supposed to be going. So I'll be there. And then we got RCGP at Nima Raceway, which I might go to too as well. So we're looking forward to that. But this week it's all about SilverState. I'll be there. Max, we're not going to do any picks. Let's see the track. Let's see what's going on. Yeah. I fly out of her tomorrow. Check out for my videos. I'll be posting to Instagram. I'll be posting to Facebook. Most of my stuff, like most of the laps and pit walks, will all be on YouTube. So if you haven't signed up or hit that sub button on our YouTube channel, please do. We're growing, but we need to grow faster. I'd like to get to 3,000 subs by my birthday, which is July. So let's get working on that. Share that. Let's grow this YouTube. I'm looking to do some more videos, some more content. I'm going to be taking this big yellow boat out. I got another boat that I'm going to reveal here soon. That's going to be badass. And I got some other RC toys coming to have some fun with. But yeah, this trip, it's going to be like a vlog style as well. So it's going to be cool. And I'm traveling Spirit. I'm worried because the last time I traveled Spirit was going to this exact race and it was a pain in the ass. And already we are hitting a snafu because I can't even book my seats. Can't even pay for my seats. So Spirit, please don't mess me around. Anyway, Max, that's it. Thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. I hope you guys enjoyed our recap of the PNB IBC/Euro warm-ups. Thank you for all the support. # NNRC Squad. Patrons of the podcast, thank you for all the support. If you wish to be a patron of the podcast, please go down and hit that link in the written description of this podcast. Shout out to all the awesome sponsors of this podcast. Remember, everybody, showing the sponsors some love shows the podcast some love. There are links to all of these sponsors. There are some links that have coupon codes. There's some affiliate links that help us out. If there are no coupon codes or links, if you buy something, just let them know that you heard about it on the NNRC, and it helps us out. But thank you to Invisible Speed, TZO 200 Tires, High Tech RCD, TNR Fuels, Beach RC, Techno RC, Mayako, Lugs Racing Tires, JQSM, G-Spec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, RCGP, House of RC, DR Race Shop, JTP RC. Shout out to my good friend Alexander Hagberg, who's on vacation with his family finally after a very hectic first quarter of travel. He's all excited. He's also my Star Wars brother. We both are fans of Star Wars. Everybody have a great one. Please tune into what we're doing at SilverState this week. Max, we might get together and do a podcast. We'll see. You know, got to see how our schedules work up. I'm going to be a little bit 3 hours more. Thank you for your time, Max. You have a good day. I hope you do go racing or go get some track time this weekend.
Yeah.
I do. And I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. Remember, hit that share button, hit that like button. Max, we got to go. Remember, Nitro's the glory. Ebuggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding, you're sliding. We're off to SilverState, and we're not, well, I am, and I don't gamble, but I do have $50 for gambling. Maybe it makes 100, and I stop. I do not gamble. We are out, and we're going to Vegas. Woohoo!